Thank you, Amanda, for showing your camera. Oh, these are all the same kids I had in the last group. Perfect. All right, Allison, I'll let you take it away. Kids, if you have questions, you can unmute yourself or type in the chat. However you want to do it.
Hi, everyone. I'm Allison Price. I'm a full-time artist. And in that last breakout room, I asked everybody to introduce themselves and tell me what you're passionate about. So I would like to begin with that. Clarissa, how about you first?
Sure. I'll just say Allison is my aunt, so you all know. I just love her.
And I love Clarissa.
Okay, so I'm Clarissa. There's new students in here. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the advisor for Park Center in Spring Lake Park. What am I passionate about? There's so many things. The first thing that comes to my mind is animals. Saving animals, rescuing animals. I have 2 cats and I treat them like they're my children.
That's
Amanda,
good.
you want to go next?
I can go next. I'm Amanda, and I'm not really sure if I'm like really passionate about anything, but I like reading a lot and doing art, but I'm not really good at art. So
That's cool. What do you read about, Amanda?
I really, but sorry, I kind of forgot what to say. I really like reading a lot of fairy tales, kind of mythology and stuff like that. I really like fantasy themed novels and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Who's next? Who would like to share?
Hi, my name is Evelyn. I'm not really sure, like, passionate about anything, but I really love volleyball right now.
Are you on a team?
Yeah, I played a team last year.
Oh, cool. And what position do you like the best? Or do you play them all?
Kind of like the setter.
Okay, yeah, setting is fun. Have you heard a finger yet?
No.
Okay, good. Something that'll probably happen, but setting, I think, is such a precise, it's actually such a beautiful position. And to be able to get that ball, pop it right up for your teammates is awesome. It's cool. Thank you, Evelyn. And who else would like to introduce themselves?
So for us, we have 2 people.
Yes.
So my
okay.
sister and I.
Yeah.
My name's Gomong, but I go Ricky because it's more easier to say. I'm passionate about food because I talk about food every single day.
Okay.
My sister, and she gets to know about that.
My name is Pachea. Honestly, I don't know what I'm passionate about, but I have a lot of hobbies that I like to do. So like I draw, I cook, I dance, I sing, I do sewing, I do knitting, I like playing badminton. I like doing a lot of stuff, but I don't know what I'm passionate about.
Well, that's an awesome way to find out what you're passionate about, to do all those things. That's great.
Thank you.
Yeah. And who else next?
Hello, I'm Jer.
Hi,
and I don't think I have anything I'm really passionate about. I don't really do anything, just play games a lot, I guess, and then just clean and sleep. But yeah, that's it.
That's cool. I mean, I think sleep is like I love sleeping. I think sleeping is something that we all need to honor and treat as like sacred. So like if somebody is sleeping in my house, I am so quiet because that's, the time when our body is rejuvenating and our brains are rejuvenating and things are moving into long-term memory. Such an important part of being a human and being able to process all the information around us. So I love sleep and gaming too. So good things. So I thought today I would like tell you a little brief story about how I started to be an artist. And and then you guys can ask me any questions that you'd like. So my very, very first memory of being an artist was I was 2.5 years old. And I know this because of the location I was at. I took a whole bunch of toilet paper, and it was on a day just like today, kind of rainy and drizzly. And I went out to the gutter in the street, and I took also my mom's food coloring, and I drizzled the food coloring into the water, and I watched it dance its way all the way down to the sewer. And then I gently put in the toilet paper and let the colors get all over that. And then I took the toilet paper out and I made little tiny hamburger patties on the sidewalk that I let dry out underneath my bed. So that's like the very first time I remember painting. And ever since then, I've been an artist. Like Evelyn, you were saying you read fairy tales. Like I could not get enough fairy tales like when I was growing up. I read Hans Christian Andersen. I read Edna Blyton. She's a British author who wrote about this place called the Faraway Tree. I would read, like more, grown up, more adult ones as I got older. I just kept reading fantasy and fairy tales and mythology. So a lot of that is incorporated into my work. And I think too that mythology and similar are incorporated into so many art forms right now, like gaming, cooking, and like the visual arts, something that I'm part of. But I was told as a kid, art is not a real job. So you need to find something else to do, Allison, something else that is going to make you some money that you can like, be an adult with. So I got a job with an insurance company, and there's nothing wrong with that. And that was super great. And there was people who were, rock stars in the insurance industry. But every day I went into work, it was just sucking my soul out, really sucking my soul out. So one day I just said, I can't do this anymore. And I quit. And I became a full-time artist. I'd been doing art on the side the whole time. I had no plan. So this is the important part is to have a plan, learn from my mistakes. And a plan sounds super complicated. A plan sounds like you have to have like graphs and sheets and projections. Think of it more like a recipe. That's the better way to think of it. You just need these ingredients for success. So little parts of the recipe will contribute to the whole. So I contributed to my whole, and I still do the same thing by having different income streams. So I am a full-time artist. My art, my paintings, I probably work on like 40 to 50 hours a week, but I also am the social media coordinator for a couple companies. I get paid for doing that, not much, but a little bit. I'm a curator downtown Minneapolis, so I get paid for that, not much, but a little bit. So these things all kind of are income streams, and they're all in the arts field. So I'm still connected that way, because sometimes you don't want to, like sometimes I just don't want to paint, like my mood is not going that direction and I need something else to do. That's why these other things help. And to use a super like arty term, it informs my art process. So by curating other people's art, which is just a fancy way of saying things look great hanging together or being together in a collection in a group, like their stories interweave or the look of the work all speaks together, that helps me because then I get inspired. So that's a little bit about me. Do you guys have any questions so far?
Oh, sorry. Yes, I do have a question.
Okay.
So what you were saying earlier was that like sometimes you'll like stop from like painting or doing art and then moving on to like another hobby. You
Right.
said more of like an art block where you just don't have like any ideas coming through, or is it like where it's a time for you to think about what you want to do?
This is Ernest, my cat. Amanda, it's all of that. You're exactly right. So there are times where I have serious artist block, like serious. I can't create. I can't. Everything I do just turns into mush. It's just awful. And that's the time when I need to like
Okay.
feed my creative energy in another way. So I'll block out time to go for walks, biking, reading. Sometimes I have to be away from like art, if that makes sense, like cleaning my palette, like just getting that out of my system. I find nature is the best way for me to do that. Connecting with nature. So every night in the middle of the night, I go for a couple mile walk, and that really helps me. But then there's also times where you just need to step back from the work to give yourself a fresh perspective. And you guys might find this when you're working on a paper or something, and you kind of have the idea in your head how you want it to read, but you just need all the parts to coalesce and come together. So I find if I leave and do something else, my subconscious is working on the problem. I might not be aware that it is, but when I come back with fresh eyes, I'm like, oh, right there, there's the problem with the painting, or oh, there's the problem with the installation. And I'm able to resolve the issue. Did I answer that question?
Allison, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Because I know that being an artist doesn't necessarily require a degree. But I know that you went to college and you got your master's too. So could you speak to how schooling maybe made you like helped in your artistry or
Sure.
benefits of that?
So Clarissa is totally on point with this. I don't think someone needs an art degree to be a successful artist. What is important is that you have all those ingredients, and that's what university or secondary education or classes, classes here and there will help you do. Marketing, one thing, advertising, accounting, all of these little parts of actually running a business are the parts that you need to be a successful whatever you want to be. I need all those things. I mean, I could be the best artist in the entire world, but if I'm in my basement studio and I don't know how to market my work, I'm going to be failing. Or if I go out and buy thousands of dollars worth of art supplies and there's no funds coming in, again, I'm a failure in that component. So we just need to have a plan, a recipe to figure out how we're going to move forward with our passion. So schooling did help me with that. But quite frankly, in art school, a term would come up and I'd say, oh, that's why I do that. That's why I use, red and green together in this combination, because artists for thousands of years have done this. So I think the more important thing I took away from grad school is how interconnected everything is, how geography, politics, science, religion, all these things are so interconnected in the visual arts world. And to look at a painting now, I can look at a painting from 500 years ago, and with the skills that I've gained, I can tell you more about where the artist was coming from in that time. Like I can probably say that it, you know, whether it was commissioned by the church or if they were painting this purely out of passion, like they just thought that their daughter sleeping with her head cuddled up on a pillow was the most beautiful thing ever, and they painted that. You can tell those things from a painting once you have all of the political and historical and contextual things in your mind. Okay, I got a couple questions. Have I ever done a self-portrait? Yes. Not successful, but yes, I have done several self-portraits. And the wildest piece of art I've ever had to work on, I think everything I do is super wild, Ricky. I took the last session on a little tour, a little field trip. I don't know if you guys want to go on a field trip. Okay, yes. Clarissa's smiling, so I'm just going to do it. I got permission. Okay, so we're in what is known as the Crab Shack in my house. And one day I had a gallon of navy blue paint and some red paint and some orange paint. So I decided to work on this giant octopus. Can you see it? I really like it. I really like this part of the tentacle. So that's in the family room in our house. And oh, I put like a little origami boat in there because it's a nice octopus. It's not like mean or anything. And other people might not realize that it's just trying to be friends with people. So that's why I put the boat in there. Now we're going off into my studio. No judge, it's like a total disaster, but that's how I create in a total disaster situation. I think having all of that stimulus around me just feeds my creativity. So we're in my studio right now. Yes, see, look at that disaster pile. Woohoo! Here's my pile of canvas, waiting for fun. This is where I paint. That's starting. It's going to be a giant tree painting. Here's one in process. And something that I'm kind of passionate about, well, actually very passionate about. See these little tiny paintings? I'll show you some close-up ones in a second. Okay, to give you a little background, I'm passionate about the environment, and I think that being an artist, we work with a lot of plastics and papers and horrible things for the environment. So instead of throwing those away, every year I only have one garbage bag that comes out of my studio of non-recyclable things. Otherwise, I put them in these tiny paintings called the fireflies. And here's a couple examples.
I've got some on my wall.
Oh, yep, Clarissa's got some on her wall. So here's one, kind of like Clarissa's. This one's got a Mylar balloon in there. This is the cardboard from a Starbucks coffee cup when we used to be able to go to Starbucks. And this one has a failed painting in it. And I put them on little tiny canvases with their own little title. So that's how I use my studio waste. And I think that's important for artists to do. Let's see, what advice would you give to students who say they aren't good at art? Oh, I think everybody's good at art because art is an expression of yourself. So we're all on a different learning curve. I mean, if I want to paint something that looks exactly like, you know, a 79 Corvette, yeah, I'm going to have to hone that skill to make it look like a 79 Corvette. But if I want to paint something that makes me feel like I'm riding around in it and having a blast, and it might be just a joyful color, exuberant painting, then that's also a successful painting. it's important to honor your artist, your internal artist. And if you hope to be an artist as a profession, just to hone your skills, just like anything else, whether you're a chef, baker, mechanic, geologist, whatever, counselor, you just hone your skills. But that little spark of intuition is always a beautiful, good thing to start with. So it's not like you're starting at a bad point, you're just starting at a spark point. Does that make sense? Okay. We have 9 minutes. I was thinking about telling you guys about my tree series. You saw 2 of those starting to get painted. I'm really, it's about human migration to the Twin Cities, and specifically how the environment has welcomed everybody regardless of where they're from on the planet. And when we were talking earlier about how education, whether it's politics or geology or geography, all those things, that informs my work. So I think about historically how people have migrated to the Twin Cities. My own family immigrated here from Europe, and how all of our collective inputs have made this a complex and beautiful and beautifully diverse culture in the Twin Cities. And that's what the tree paintings are about. And it's called Witnessing Waves, Waves of Human Migration. So I'm sharing multiple levels within that series of art. I'm sharing historical context, the current political situation regarding immigration, the environmental impacts of humans on a place. So it's a multi-level art series. And that series, PBS, Minnesota Originals, did a video on it. So you can reference that to see more on that. But as an artist, I feel not only do I want to create things that are beautiful, I also want to create things that have meaning. So when people look at my paintings, they're reading something. There's a story there. Like the fireflies are telling people, oh, maybe don't buy that Mylar balloon for a birthday because it's going to end up in a landfill unless somebody rescues it and does something with it. To be thoughtful about our purchases, things that have a lot of plastic, ask the manufacturer not to use plastic, or buy something that comes in paper. So that's like the fireflies has that message. The Witnessing Waves has the message about inclusivity, how we all belong to this planet and we all are part of it together. So whatever your art form is, whatever your passion is, it's going to be read on multiple different levels.
Yeah. So we have about 5 to 6 minutes left. So I know at the beginning, Allison, you had asked the students what they're passionate about, and a lot of them said, I don't know, I have hobbies. For a lot of our students, they're first generation, their parents maybe didn't go to college or get a 4-year degree. What kind of advice would you have to students who have no idea what they want to do? Kind of how to find themselves, how to find what they're passionate about?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. And I think we all have to ask ourselves that, at like whatever age you are. But as it was interesting, as we asked that question, what you're passionate about, everybody did have an answer. It just kind of maybe startled you, and it is early in the morning, so I get that. Clarissa laughs. Like dabbling in lots of different stuff is a great way to find out what you're passionate about. Like volleyball is a great way to find out you like working with a team, you like the energy of other people, you like communicating in like a fast-paced environment. Kind of break down things that are hobbies or things that you like doing and ask yourself, what about this thing do I really like? And for some reason, when I was a kid, I thought a job had to be something hard. Like it had to be hard for me to do in order for it to be a job. um, like it would be very hard, like almost painful, like I didn't want to do it or something, rather than saying, wow, I'm great at art, or I love working with color, for example, maybe I could go into fashion, maybe I could go into creating paint for Sherwin-Williams, you know, breaking down what we like to do, and thinking about it. Like, you guys love cooking and drawing and dancing. Sounds like Bashir and Ricky, you guys could have your own YouTube channel on fun things to do. And writing and reading and drawing and gaming, all really important introspective ways that you're already exploring what you like to do. No, I eat food. Well, that's good. Do you eat good food? Oh. Oh. Food, you know, though, food is so important. Food is a global unifier. Everyone needs to eat. And that's why people have great cooking shows and are experimenting with food and sharing foods from different parts of the world. Food is an art form, and learning about different foods is another great way to explore. Wow.
We've got about 2.5 minutes. So and any last quick questions or any last minute, like just tips about college or finding your passions,
Well,
anything?
as you go on with your careers, I think just go with open eyes and open hearts, because there will be classes that you don't really resonate with, and there will be subjects that maybe don't resonate with you, but know that the people who plan these classes have a bigger picture in mind. I was so surprised to find out that my global religions class and my science, I had a physics class, and my women in art history class all had a similar thread running through. And it's because professors like spend time doing this. So you see like a bigger picture when you get done, but when you're in it, you just don't maybe really see it because you're so close to it. And explore. I'm big advocate of traveling. If you can travel, I mean, whether it's super far or just to another state or to another city, you know, outside of your comfort zone, that's a really good way to learn too. Is just go somewhere and learn about the place that you're going to. Like, let's say you just take a road trip to Northfield, Minnesota, and you learn about Jesse James, the bank robber, and how he ran away and had a whole manhunt after him, and then learn about why Jesse James was doing stuff like that. It's interesting, these little rabbit holes that we can go down with travel.
Hopefully we'll be able to travel again soon.